Hey everybody, welcome back. This is the DistributED Magazine podcast. I'm Scott Costa, the publisher of TED Magazine, coming to you from the home office instead of the office. No Jayhawks behind me today. So you're going to have to deal with me here. Got a great couple of guests, though. I'm really excited about this. We're going to talk about the Empowering Women Mentorship Program with Vann, Stacey, Felzer, both well-respected, well-known women in our supply chain. And they've started this amazing program for women in our industry. It's directed toward the electrical industry, so I'm excited to have them talk about their class that just ended and what their participants got out of it. And there's another class coming up that you need to know about, so we're going to talk about that too. So first of all, Kathy, Joe, Stacey, thank you for joining me on the DistributED Magazine podcast.
Thanks for having us, Scott.
Yeah, it is great. It is great having you. Kathy, Joe, I'm going to start with you. Again, the both of you, though, have been in the supply chain for a while. And I know you've both been very big on women in industry. You've been very big on diversity and inclusion. And then all of a sudden it's like, we got to move this forward. So how did you get this whole thing started to say, we're really going to take this to the next level?
Well, thanks, Scott. So, when I retired, and I can't believe it's been 3 years, but it's been 3 years ago, I really wanted to find a way to stay connected and give back to this industry where I'd spent 30 years. And I found, as I looked back at my career, that I had a number of incredible mentors that really helped encourage me, supported me, guided me, challenged me, and really helped me become the leader that I am today and the person that I am today. But I lucked into it, right? And so had I known then what I know now, I would have been much more deliberate and intentional about finding a mentor and building those mentoring relationships. So over the last 3 years, I've been studying mentoring. I actually believe in practicing what I preach. So I have a number of different mentors that guide me and help me through a lot of different aspects. And I was talking with two particular mentors, very good friends in the industry, about how I had this mentorship program concept, but I hadn't been able to get it off the ground. And those two almost simultaneously said, you need to talk to Stacey Felzer. It was very interesting. And I'd known Stacey because we'd been a part of the NAD Women in Industry for a number of years. In fact, in the last one in Nashville, I remember we sat at a table together and we shared book ideas. But I never really had a relationship with her. So on their feedback, I reached out to Stacey and I shared with her what I was trying to do and asked her to consider collaborating with me. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Well, so Stacey, let me ask you a follow-up on that then, because as Kathy Joe said, she kind of lucked into finding a mentor. But then the both of you, took it upon yourselves to become mentors to other women who are in this industry. What is the importance of that to you? How did you decide that, what, I'm going to give back? Somebody gave me, I'm going to give back.
Oh gosh, yeah, for sure. Same thing. I've been fortunate. I've had so many great mentors, some on purpose and some on accident, I think. And I think the same thing happened. As you expand your career and as you continue to grow and move up in companies and get involved with NAD Women in Industry, I had the opportunity to meet a lot of women in various aspects of their career. And so some of it, started simply with conversations at, say, Women in Industry for the NAD conference that evolved into a mentoring relationship. And for me, I don't know that it was, at that part, a really active decision. It was just something that had been so beneficial to my career that the thought of being able to do that for someone else, that's exciting and that's rewarding. And that's just, that's why we do this, right? To be able to help out and to be able to pass on what we've learned. So I'm really grateful that I've had the opportunity to informally mentor people, and then now to get the opportunity to be a part of this program and, to be able to work with Kathy Joe to be able to launch it and give so many more women the opportunity to benefit from a lot of the things that I've learned over my career and had access to wonderful networks. Right here is a prime example of what we've built. The fact that she's having a conversation with people who have mentored me as well and got us connected and got us to this point. Right there's a prime example of paying it forward and the benefits of doing that.
So Stacey, take me back just a little bit. When did this current class just finished? Like last week.
Yes.
So when did the class begin? When did it get started?
So we technically launched in July, right, Kathy Jo? We took applications at the beginning of July.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kathy Jo and I worked on pairing mentors and mentees and had our official kickoff on July 26th. You would think I'd have all these dates ingrained in my head, but towards the end of July. So middle of July.
I didn't mean to like, make you memorize dates. I apologize. I should have forewarned you in advance, I guess, about that. But
you would think, and Kathy Jo probably she's our timeline. Kathy Jo is our she is our Excel whiz. I'm the one that puts the stuff around the Excel. So yes, I would say that's where we play to each other's strengths. She has she's got the formulas all figured out and got that set up for us.
So give or take the program though starts and ends over let's see, August, September, October, mid-November, 3.5, 4 or so months.
Yeah. So the program is really structured to take about 3 months from when you announce it, do the kickoff, and then it's the actual program of the mentoring is about 14 weeks.
Okay.
And this is part of the beauty of the program, in that we require the mentees and the mentors. They meet ideally 6 times, so ideally every other week. And we say 14 weeks because you're going to have vacations and holidays or something. So we put it on a 14-week schedule. So we have a kickoff meeting where we equip them with all the information that they need. They get to meet their mentoring partner, and then they go off on their own and they meet, whether it's through the phone, and we encourage phone calls, video calls, whatever they're comfortable with. So what makes this program unique is that we provide some kind of a structure, but it's not so rigid that they can't make it their own. They tailor it. We give them a 12-page guidebook that has worksheets and tips for your first meeting, think about doing this. Or here's tips for building rapport, especially in a virtual environment, or how to give and receive feedback. So all those different kind of tips, some of them use it every time for a meeting, but other ones said, honestly, I opened it up the first time and I've never opened it again. And that's the beauty of it, because we provide the tools, but each mentoring pair has their own unique relationship.
So Kathy Jo, in the event that, again, a vaccine appears or travel restrictions are lifted or things happen, is there an opportunity for in-person sections to this later on? How does this evolve, going forward?
Yeah, so that's the beauty of it, is that this inaugural program that we ran really was kind of a test to see how is this going to work. Are we going to be able to recruit mentors and mentees? The pandemic and everybody's used to doing virtual calls really gave us the platform to launch it, right? But the beauty of it is, with the inaugural program, the mentees and mentors are giving us a lot of feedback and saying, we want to have more networking opportunities. So we put in an informal networking thing into the program in this initial one. There are also ideas of let's do local, like a Southeastern area meetup. So we really look at building a community of participants, not just the inaugural class, which is 40 people, by the way. We initially started, Scott, we wanted 12 mentees in the program. Do a great job with a few, right? Yeah. But we expanded it to 20 because we got such tremendous response. So we've got 40 people in the inaugural class. The next class, we're not sure. We're prepared to accommodate many more than that. But this would continue to build as a group of alumni that are all members of this Empowering Women Mentorship community. And maybe we have a community meetup in the Southeast or in Arizona or in the Northeast once the travel lift. I think the other important thing is to recognize that while it is focused on women in the electrical industry,
right?
And I say up and coming women, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Our mentors are both men and women. And if you saw the roster of the mentors that we have, it's like a who's who. And we have one of the mentees who's a young lady, very talented, very smart individual. She said, KJ, I never would have gotten to connect with Steve, who's one of our mentors, president of a major electrical contracting company. She's like, I never would have been able to connect with him, much less have 6 meetings with him, and build a relationship. And then on the flip side, I talked to Steve, and Steve says, KJ, I am learning so much from her. She has no idea how much she's teaching me, which is the beauty of it. So, and that's, that's why we do it. I mean, for Stacey and I, it's like making a platform, making a difference, enabling these up and coming women. By the way, they're not all young. It spans from, we've got some that have 20 years experience. Some of our mentees have 20 years experience, but they're benefiting from the mentorship relationship. And then we do have a couple that are interns with distributors. And so it's the full gamut, and it's also a pretty diverse group ranging from manufacturers, distributors, manufacturers, reps, and electrical contracting companies.
That's awesome. Stacey, you guys, because I've seen your correspondence with me, obviously, way before this podcast when you guys were launching back in the summer. You put a lot of emphasis on mentors, making sure that you have the right people and the right kind of mix, I guess would be the best way of putting it. Was that part of the initial plan to do this? I mean, what are the things you definitely wanted to make sure that you were going to do right on this? Was mentors, right there at the top of the list? And what else was there that you said, we have to make sure we do this with these programs?
Definitely. I mean, I think on both sides of the equation, the mentors and the mentees, getting the right people was imperative in this. So starting with the mentors, like you said, we wanted to make sure that we had people that wanted to give back, were willing to devote the time and the energy and believed in the cause. And, we're fortunate that Kathy, Joe, and I have been around for, a little while in the industry, and have really made a lot of connections, thankfully, and have a strong network that we were able to reach out to people. The really awesome thing is I don't think we asked anybody who said no. I mean, it was so amazing, the response that we got from people, that they wanted to be a part of this, that they were excited to be a part of this, definitely willing to devote the time and energy and effort. And one of the things that I think really helped too was we put a lot of this on the mentees. The mentees really drive a lot of the meetings. They're the ones that drive the agenda. And so, it gives them a comfortable place and a safe place to be able to drive their learning and what they want to get out of the program. And the mentors are there to support that. So it gives them opportunity to immediately put into practice what they're learning, whether that's leading without authority or, presentations or things like that. It gives them a place to be able to do that. And they get to drive that agenda, which I think is awesome. As for the mentees, we asked people to sponsor up and coming women. So, they really have.
Stacey, I think we're
losing your wife, but that's okay. Kathy, Joe, I'm just going to have you just keep going, expand on, what they're doing.
So the neat thing was through the sponsorship approach, which was a new approach that we took based on feedback from some of our mentors. Stacey, are you back?
I am. I'm so sorry. I guess
that's okay.
Don't worry about it. Hey.
So we decided to reach out to leaders in our industry and ask them to identify and sponsor an up-and-coming woman in the industry. Mm-hmm. And so sponsoring doesn't just mean paying the enrollment fee. Sponsoring means saying, this person, I vouch that they have the commitment, the dedication, the aspiration to really take the program seriously. And then the sponsor is also there to encourage them and support them. And we found it's also a great way for a senior leader to give a kudos to an up-and-coming talent and invest in them and show that they have faith in them and that they're a high potential individual within the organization.
So Stacey, again, I assume that what's going to end up happening, and this is where the great reward is going to come in for you guys, is a mentee is going to turn into a mentor in the next couple of years, and you're going to be like, see, it all circles, it all cycles through, which is great. But Stacey, this group that just finished this first class of the mentees, what kind of other reactions did you get from them? What kind of responses were they? Was it more than they expected? Was it, was it far more fulfilling? What was the big skill that they felt like they really got the most out of and have improved the most? I mean, what kind of stuff did you hear from them?
We have gotten just phenomenal feedback. We did surveys to get feedback, and then obviously touching base and talking to folks to get personal feedback based on their experiences. And it's been exactly what you said. It's been more than what they expected. That they loved that they had some structure to the program, but yet they got to drive it where they wanted. So they specifically were able to get help in the areas that they identified. That they, everything from, I made a lifelong connection. I not only got a mentor, but I made a friend, or I feel this is somebody I can continue to reach out to for the extended future as well. So I think growing the network is great. Some people, they had different things that they wanted to grow in different areas. And so one in particular was, had some big meetings coming up. And Kathy Jo, didn't you talk to Sabrina about one, like in it? Can you share? I'm sorry, you talked to her specifically about that.
Yeah. So we had one she's an entrepreneur, had a big project that she was trying to win for her company. Mm-hmm. And we had connected her with one of our mentors who was a former entrepreneur, had his own rep agency. And he coached her through the importance of building a network, making the right relationships with the right people of influence. And she never would have thought of that. And she said, as a result of that, plus a lot of other things, but she won the largest contract that her company had ever won. And so that just gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Like to think about, like, our little program had that kind of impact on a person's life.
It's pretty incredible. I think we also have to drive this part of it home. Again, Kathy Jo, this is different because this is you can go to your local community college and get into some kind of mentor program. I'm not saying that's a bad thing or whatever people want to do, but this is different because this is actually for the electrical industry.
Yes.
And again, so if you're take me through distributor, manufacturer, what else? I mean, who can
distributor, manufacturer, manufacturer's rep, electrical contractor. So we're casting the next net when we announce it. This first one, we only really reached out to about 20 people in our network to sponsor someone, and we got a tremendous response. Now we're casting that pretty broad. We're getting the word out. We will allow sponsors on a first come, first serve basis. So we have a limited number that we can accommodate, because we're not just going to put everybody in the one. So once we announce the program, it'll be a first come, first serve basis that will accept people into the program. And then the next big piece is mentors. And so we're actively recruiting mentors right now. And really the important message there is, I had a number of people that said, GKJ, I don't know that I can do this. Like, tell me more about what's this involved. And once I lay out to them, look, it's 6 hours over a 14-week period. Mm-hmm. What do you have to do? You just have to bring your experience, your insight, your ideas, and your questions. That's it. The mentors don't set the agenda. The mentors don't have to make notes. The mentors don't pull this individual along. We put all that on the mentee, which is a little bit daunting. But we really encourage the mentee to guide the conversation. So the mentor can truly show up for the 1 hour phone call or video call or live meeting. Some of our mentors and mentees are in the same city, and they were able to socially distance and meet. Yeah. And so that gives mentors a little bit more comfort in saying, sure, I'll sign up, because who can't give 6 hours?
Yeah. Great point. And Stacey, I know you're not the dates person, but maybe I should pass this on to Kathy Jo. I don't know. So when do you again, not an exact date, don't feel bad, but when do you thinking the next class gets started? I know you're just wrapped up the first one, first quarter of 2021, halfway through 2020. Oh, no.
We do. We are going to run this program. The class will start at the beginning of the new year. Okay. So we are actually going to be sending out information here shortly. We're going to be taking applications until middle of December. So we actually,
kickoff is at the end of January.
Mm-hmm. Kickoff at the end of January. Okay. Again, no specific date. That's okay. I'm not going to, Stacey, don't worry about that. It's all good.
I just finished the material, Scott. I actually know the dates right now. So.
But okay, so folks are going to see this podcast then, and they're going to be like, well, wait, I want to get involved. So what should they do to make sure that they, can do the best they can to be a part of this late January class? Either one of you, how can they get in touch with you? Is their website? What should they be doing to, get in touch with you about this?
We do. We have a website. It's the Empowering Women Mentorship Program.com. So we try and, it's long, but it's hopefully memorable. And so we have all of the information that's available on the website, including.
Or you can, the shortened version is ewmp.info.
Okay.
www.ewmp.info.
Okay, well, here's what I'm going to do. So everybody right now is probably looking down anyway. It'll be on the bottom of the screen while they're watching the podcast. So there it is for you. Make sure that you're signing up, at least getting in touch with you guys about any questions that they have, which is great.
For sure.
And look us up on LinkedIn. Connect with us on LinkedIn. We post information about it on LinkedIn. And feel free to reach out. Our contact information is in our LinkedIn contacts. But feel free to call or text.
Sure.
Or email us.
You guys need to keep in touch with me on this program. Again, as women go through this and continue to, go from mentees to mentors and stuff like that, I just have this gawker, curious, want to watch people develop just like you do. So let me, just keep me in the loop as this moves forward, and goes forward. And again, I can't thank both of you enough for taking time out of your day to talk about this thing, which is an amazing program. I'm really excited with us on the podcast. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Scott.
All right. Hey, quick, real fast, got to wrap this up again. If folks want to get in touch with me, for whatever reason, things got crazy and you're like, oh, I missed the website, I missed whatever, and they just want to get in touch with me. Again, the easiest way right now, I'm working from home, so just email me. Again, bottom of the screen, scosta, SCOSTA @NAAD.org. I'll answer your questions or direct you to Kathy, Joe, or Stacey to get you the information that you need about the Empowering Women Mentorship Program. Thanks again, both of you, for joining me on the podcast, and thanks for everybody for listening and for watching the Distributed with TED Magazine podcast.